Hey guys, before we start, a quick shout out to Alpha Dog Nutrition for sponsoring this podcast. Alpha Dog products are now available at dusupply.com, and you can use code ALPHADOG15 at checkout for 15% off and a credit for free shipping to try it yourself. Now let's get you to your podcast.
Hey guys, Chris Watson, Anecdote of a Houndsman. Usually Brett has a podcast ready for you guys. He did not do that this week because he's off traveling the world and he got satellite internet. So now I don't think he wants to come home. So I have a little podcast I put together on my YouTube live with Cleave Dwire. Lots of information. Check it out. Puppies, dog training, a little bit of politics. Stay tuned and I hope you guys enjoy. Long day at the office?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. Running a little bit late. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. They just had to hear me talk about a bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
We've actually talking about Arizona Game and Fish. Not this Friday, next Friday on the 12th. They're doing I think he's a biologist, carnivore capture specialist. So.
Oh,
I guess but he's doing an update. He's doing a little briefing of the mountain lion research project they have going on. So that's going to be interesting. I don't know if they're going to let us ask questions or not, but be cool. Friday, April 12th. I think he'll be on about 10-ish. So,
what is his name? Ron Thompson?
No, no, Ron Thompson is on the east side, and I don't even know if he's still doing it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if that's.
I think he's private too. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe not.
Oh,
gotcha. You know that guy or what?
I met him once. Yeah, met him. Yeah.
No trash. Any trash to talk? No.
No.
Nothing on air.
Not that I know of. No. No.
Well,
no.
I'm sure you ask around enough. You know how it is in the hound world.
Oh yeah, there's probably trash on me.
See, has anyone ever had a hound develop a grade 1 heart murmur? There you go. What about you there, Cleve?
I never have. No, I've never had that. I've always worried about getting stuff from mosquitoes and stuff. I've never had that happen either. But
like West Nile and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and then what the hell is it, heartworm? I've always worried about heartworm, but I think we're high enough elevation here in northern Nevada. We don't have to worry about it. I think that's more prominent when you get like 3,000 feet and below, from what I've been told. But
I figured it'd be in the hotter weather.
Yeah, a little bit warmer. I know it's more prominent down low, but yeah, I've never had that. Luckily, but Becky is telling me about that. I think Cody King was talking about that chaga bugs or whatever. What the hell they are that cause?
Oh yeah, that's like some serious stuff too.
Oh yeah, I guess that Cody King he's had a lot of dogs get it and die, and I didn't know there's such thing, but that's something they got to contend with that we don't.
So if you go, me and on interviews, stories and tells. We had Cody King on, and he kind of goes through the whole thing.
Oh, really?
It's like some serious stuff. I never even heard of it. So
me neither. Yeah, I never heard of it either.
How much do you think the U.S. Forest Service is going to pay qualified applicants to shoot barred owls in the Pacific Northwest to save the spotted owl? Well, they like to save that spotted owl and not cut down trees, and then the forest burns down and everything's gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Save it to death.
Vet said that about my 3-year-old. Said I shouldn't hunt him in the hot weather, but I don't think he will like that. I don't know. It's probably for people who take their dogs to vets. I'm not one of those people. Unless I stitch up their guts and have to drag them in. But most of I had a vet tech on here not too long ago, and she's super smart. And usually if I have a problem, I send her a picture, and she'll try to help me out because she knows I don't like going to the vet. So. Oh, there it is. Carnivore capture specialist. Just a fancy name for a trapper. Yeah, because I guess they don't want to call them a lion biologist no more, or whatever they are. Kissing bugs. That's what he called them.
Oh.
Yep.
Those chagas?
Yeah.
Huh. Wonder what
yeah, it's like, I don't, they looked it up. And someone, I don't know if I could, I'm afraid if I try to share my screen, I'll dump everything. I better not try it. I know I can. I better not. Anyways, what you been up to there, Cleave?
No, just, trailing a few lines around. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you out today or no?
No, we went out yesterday. We went into a place that I normally find lines, but I didn't find any yesterday, so.
Oh, yeah, chaga. Same as the kissing bug, the assassin bug. What's the weather like over there right now? It's been nice here in Arizona, and I'm in the low part right now. And we got on a site I'm on, good job. We got like 3/4 inch of a rain over the weekend. So we got a little bit. That's good for Arizona.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes it green. Yeah. We've been pretty good here. Been windy, but other than that, it's been good dry ground hunting, It's drying stuff out, and you get a little bit of subsurface moisture on that dirt, so you can trail pretty good. You can strike a track if he's there. You're probably not going to miss him. So it's been pretty decent.
Yeah. Is it? Where are you at? Are you in low desert or kind of medium? Are you right in the middle?
We're in high desert, so we're at 6,000 feet, 5,000 feet.
Oh yeah, that's about where I'm at, where I live.
Yeah, they're in Sholo or Snowflake or
whatever. Shono. Yeah, maybe Shono. No show.
No show. Yeah, sometimes.
Half the people in the town, no shows.
I thought I was going to do that today when I was showing up late to this deal.
So I'm out in low desert right now, really low desert, like Phoenix. I'm only about 30, 40 miles. Well, I hunt probably about 40, 50 miles south of Phoenix. And I'm only, I think I'm 80 miles from the border, honestly, or it's not very far. Let me get on my Onyx, trying to get them to sponsor me. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, from where I'm sitting right now, it only takes the people that come across 24 hours on a bicycle to get here. So, and what I used to do is I'd go out in the desert and I would pick up all them bikes and I would sell them again. So
what?
Yeah, I'd sell them back to the field workers here.
Holy cow!
Yeah, but it's only 85 miles from right here where I'm staying at my parents' house to the border.
Oh, it's not far.
No, it's not far at all. What could you ride that with a horse? They ride that in 24 hours on a bike, but they go across reservation.
Yeah.
So, and what people don't know is on the reservation, even though you're a federal agent with the Border Patrol, is the reservation can kick you off. It's a border, like it's their sovereign nation, basically. Yeah. And if you're coming across there and you tell them you're a native, Border Patrol really can't do nothing about it, even though you're speaking Spanish. But
oh yeah, yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. 2 days you could be in Mexican. If you rode from your house where you are now.
Yeah.
You rode your mule down there in 2 days, you could be in Mexico.
Because it's not hard country. It's pretty flat. You don't have to cross up and over. You could take the flat. You could go pretty flat, make it all the way there.
Pretty mild, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I had to get on the tractor last time. Juliana. I think we made fun of her for being in California, maybe. I don't know. We got to make fun of the Californians. So we have to have one Californian on here we make fun of. I think she was the one. Yep, she's the one. But she has a good attitude. It's all right. So are you guiding right now, or you guys slow down a little bit?
No, we're done guiding for the year. So just been kind of catching up on everything else and
chores.
Yeah, everything that's been neglected.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of snow this year?
Oh, a fair amount. You know, sometimes we get some and then it'd rain and melt it all. So we didn't get a whole lot, but it'll help our snowpack and our springs and stuff.
Yeah.
Bring them back to where they need to be. Last year really did a lot. There's springs that hadn't flowed in a dozen years and they came back to life. So that's a good thing. That's real good. So
real quick, there's a lot of people on here that hadn't been on here before. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself, a little quick intro, what you do, who you're working for, guiding, or it's you, but what you do. Just tell us a little about yourself, how you got into dogs and what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I've been guiding line hunters for quite a while. I started hunting lines when I was 17. My name's Cleave Dwire, by the way. I live here in northern Nevada in Elko County, about 70 miles from the Idaho state line. So we hunt mountain lions. That's mainly what we do for a living. In the summertime, we do federal contracting. We build livestock fence or pack for Forest Service or Park Service or whatever they need done. So we're either using our skid steer or our mules in the summertime, and in the wintertime we hunt lions. So it all depends on what year, what we're doing in the summer. Like right now.
That forestry keep you pretty busy?
Not as busy as like the fencing contracts. Those keep us more busy. But like we just got back from Mojave Preserve down in Southern California, and we're packing baby Joshua trees. And so we packed baby Joshua trees back there in the fall, back in October, and then this last time we just went down and packed a bunch of water with our mules.
Like packing them in to plant them, or packing them out to?
Packing them in to plant them. So we pack like a couple hundred Joshua trees in, drop them at a site, and then pack a bunch of water in, like a couple hundred gallons of water on our mules, and set that off at a site. And then here 3 weeks ago, in between hunts, we had a break in there. So we went back down there, took our mules down and packed in a bunch more water. And those little Joshua trees are only like 7 or 8 inches tall. And they're like in a 5-inch by 5-inch planter, and they're in like a plastic planter. And then we can put 16 of those on each mule, and then we have some mules that we just pack water on them, and just make these trips back in there, drop it off, come back out, make another trip, drop it off. So it's kind of fun. It's not hard. It's pretty fun actually.
Look who decided to show up. He couldn't show up Monday, but he showed up today. Good old Brett Vaughn.
No, about damn time.
I know. I have to answer all the questions here. I gotta see. You want to come on, Brett? Gotta come on for a couple minutes. He's probably sitting at home. Time is it? 6:30. He should be working on a video. That's what he should be doing. So how long is how big a string you got when you're coming in there?
We only have about 4 mules, so it's not very far. Sometimes you could pack more and get it done faster, but we only take about 6 mules total, and ride 2 and pack the others. So
yeah,
but the pack mules itself, we only got 3 or 4, so you don't have to go very far. But some of that stuff is pretty mild. Where we're packing those Joshua trees isn't very good line country, but the hills off to the east, or over towards off towards the Nevada border, that looks like it'd be good line country, but it's in California. So I bet there's some lions in there.
Here's a very political question.
Yeah.
Do you think, like, you get these mountain lion attacks, especially a fatality? I know they keep saying their famous thing is Well, they hadn't had one for 20 years, but look at all the attacks anyways. And how many haven't been reported? Just, any lion activity where you've bumped into them out there with hikers where they just hadn't reported it, You think that's ever going to change in California, or you think they're too far gone? A good question for old Juliana. But
I think it's probably too far gone, You're not going to change anything there. So
I don't think so either. They'd have to really, I don't know. My cousin lives up there in Walker. Do you know where Walker, California is?
Up by Walker Lake.
Yeah, I think it's by Carson City a little bit, or outside of Reno, about an hour to the west.
Yeah, I know where that is. Yeah.
And he constantly tries to get me to go to California, and I'm just like, man, I can't carry my AK-47 there. I carry my AK-47.
You can't take it there?
Not loaded.
Huh.
Don't do me no good. I don't even know if you're allowed to have them there, but with California, you have to travel with them separated, the bullets, and California's gotten a couple of my guns. They've gotten a couple of my bulletproof vests. They tried to get me for a felony for a 6-cell flashlight. The old big mag lights.
How was it?
It's a weapon, man. It's California. Huh. You know what's crazy? This is a gorgeous, gorgeous state. California is gorgeous. Go on Google Maps and find a mountaintop that don't have a damn lake or a pond or a creek, something on it. Like,
man,
it's crazy. You get in those mountains in the North California and start Google mapping it. And I mean, I'm talking within a 1 mile, there's like 5 bodies of water in there at the very top of these. I'm like, gosh, dang.
They got oceans, forests, deserts. They got it all.
It's crazy.
Yeah, they got everything. Yeah, and it's diverse, very diverse.
There we go. Take it from a guy with hounds that lives in California. Stay away. How many 300-pound coons do you catch over there? There's a lot of them. Right. Cats need out. Oh man. And then now they're going after the bears, right? I think they're going after the bears.
Yeah, they're trying to shut down bear hunting completely.
Period. Yeah. So if I was listening to W Hunting with Jason Doobie.
Yep.
And he got pulled over. I don't know if you heard that one. He got pulled over in California.
Yeah, they searched his truck and stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, like illegally searched his truck kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought it was illegal. A lot of people thought it was illegal. But the one game warden said if they do away with bear hunting, he's done hanging up his badge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a bad deal. Yeah, and the thing about California, man, they have so many mountain ranges, so much diversity, man. That'd be a mountain lion hunter's paradise,
Well, it's funny, aren't they still killing like hundreds of them a year anyways on depredation?
Yeah, the government hunters, the USDA guys, they kill comparable to what the sport harvest guys would kill. And unfortunately, those lions go in the dumpster. There's most of those USDA guys, they got to smash that bear or lion skull and chop up the hide and everything, cut all the claws, everything. They got to destroy it. So if somebody comes hiking along, they can't take anything of that animal that's salvageable. So,
heaven forbid you feed it to an orphanage, huh?
Yeah. Or somebody can, look at it for the next 40 years in their den or their house and reminisce on the good time they had, plus all the money that was spent towards conservation. But yeah, you can't tell them people that. So
you'd have to really clear out that government. I mean, that's the worst government over there.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you got Illinois. You got Illinois, New York, and California.
Mm-hmm.
The worst.
Yeah, for sure.
comments are flying in here, Cleave.
Yeah.
Black bears and bunk studies from fishing their failed causes of petitions. We threw them out. And then you got have you hear what's going on up in Oregon, where they're trying to just get basically they're trying to get anti-hunters in on the commission.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. No.
Yeah. Oh, Missy's hot on that.
Oh.
Hey, there's res hounds. I've emailed Fish and Game and tried to get a hold of them for the leave us in suspense. Be knowledgeable here and fight back. Who dis? Let's get back to Cleave, man. They just crowd. I told you that question was gonna, So what's Nevada doing? Nevada. I can't.
There you go.
Rowdy gets me all the time, yells at me for it. I call it Nevada. I've done it my whole life.
That pronunciation could be fighting words.
That's like saying you're from California and being in Arizona, right?
Yeah.
So, anything going on in Nevada? The antis, as far as trying to cut line, or are they just concentrated on Colorado right now?
They're mainly concentrated on Colorado. Colorado Falls, it's going to be a domino effect, more or less. That's kind of the kingpin of it. New Mexico and Arizona will be next, and then Nevada. But the only bad thing we got going on right here in Nevada right now, we have wolves. We got our first pack of wolves up here on the Idaho border where I live. And we knew they were drifting in and out of here from southern Idaho over the years, but we never really, found evidence of them staying around. But we have an established pack, it looks like, a pack of 3. And back in December, we were hunting north of my house here, and some elk hunters had found, or they'd seen some wolves out on a kind of a sagebrush hillside, and everybody always likes to claim that they got wolves. Oh, we saw wolves, but those ones that those elk hunters seen, I'd have to say they're right, because about 45, 50 miles to the west of there is where Game and Fish, Nevada Department of Wildlife, was doing a collaring deal where they're collaring moose and elk, and they flew over 3 of those wolves, and they took pictures of them. So, yeah, we do have wolves here in northern Nevada now, unfortunately. So,
and it's
that deal.
And that ain't the Mexican gray wolf. That's the big wolves, right?
Yeah, those are timber wolves. Yeah, those are Yellowstone wolves. Those are big. So, yeah, they're big old suckers. But that's a bad deal. Yeah, now here on out, every houndsman around here is going to be a little bit jumpy about turning his dogs out, because you never know. I mean, there's a slim chance right now of it happening, but later on, it could happen where dogs could get killed. Come in there and all you got is tracking collars and vertebrae.
Something is all you can do is get your collar back.
Yeah.
Yeah, them too. I swear they are translated. I think the good old government's bringing those in, and it's a federal thing. And that federal really, what's funny is federal really don't override state, but because of all the federal funding, it's a sugar daddy. So the state, like with Arizona, I was told by somebody, when they brought in wolves, they said no. Game and Fish said no.
Yeah.
And federal said, well, here's how it is. They're coming in. We're not asking you. They're coming in. So you either can be with us or not be with us. And what are you going to do? You got to kind of jump in on that and at least have, I guess, some sort of control. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's not good. But the ones here where we are, I know the Nevada Department of Wildlife does not want them here in Nevada. Nevada Department of Wildlife is pretty good. But as transient as wolves are, they've done studies on them. They can travel 40 to 50 miles in a night if they want to go from point A to point B, from one range to the next. So it's not that far for them to go from the hot spots, the high concentrated wolf areas in Idaho, to northern Nevada where we are. That's not that far. All they got to do is cross the Snake River Plains, and they're here. And northern Nevada's somewhat prime wolf habitat. Not as good as, say, central Idaho or something, but it's
Yeah.
wolf habitat. And, you know, we've known that they've drifted in, and most time you don't hear nothing else. I think most of them are, you know, transient wolves or young males or whatever, and they drift back out. But we do have wolves here now, unfortunately. And don't help that Nevada's freaking basketball team or whatever, UNR or whatever, their mascot is a wolf and their wolf pack, and it's like, so all the Karens over by Reno and Tahoe are, you know, they're probably gonna jump on that deal. So
yeah,
and it's not gonna help. Probably ain't gonna help none. But yeah, just here in Nevada, we're just gonna have to be more careful. You know, when we dump loose, if you see a old melted out wolf track or an old track, just keep in mind, you know, you might have a wolf pack right there. So
yeah.
it's not good. And they're, you know, they're not somewhat passive, kind of like the wolves you guys got there in Arizona. These ones are, they're hungry and they're mean and they're big.
No,
you know?
they're. Yeah, I don't think we have the depredation as like you guys do when they get the big packs of wolves over there. You know, they don't go kill 30 elk and leave them lay or sheep. They do them damage. They do a little bit of damage here.
Yeah.
That's just because I know the ranchers, you know, but gosh dang, in order to get that money back, or you have to have the guy come out, prove it's a wolf. And I think it takes 6 months, you know, but they don't care.
No.
They don't care.
Exactly.
So between, do you follow the cattle market?
Yeah, it's high now.
God dang, $4 a pound.
That's crazy.
Like, what is it, $1,600 a pair?
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, a lot of 5 and 6 weight calves are $240 a pound, $260 a pound.
My cousin said it was up to $4 a pound up the other day.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't hear about that. I knew it was like in that 2.5, you know, almost 3 mark for 5 and 6 weight calves. But
yeah, and then everybody wonders why they're 3D printing meat for one, and why we're buying all of our meat from China for two. So.
China and Brazil.
Oh yeah. Man, I say we shut down all the export. Period.
Yeah.
No more export.
Yeah, that wouldn't hurt. That helped the American rancher. But somebody's getting rich off of that. And it ain't the American rancher. It's the packing houses, as everybody knows, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what is it? JBS and Tyson and there's 2 other ones. I don't know their names, but you know, I don't blame these small cattle co-ops or whatever kind of throwing their money together and getting their own little packing houses going. That's the way it should be, you know.
Yeah. Doesn't China own a couple of those big Gibsons or?
Yeah, I think is it JBS or whatever? If I remember right, I think that's how you say it. Is owned by, it's a Brazilian outfit. I think Tyson is partially owned by China, and then there might be another one that's owned by China too. But the Chinese, man, they own a pile of stuff, and they own a lot of the hog farms in the Midwest too. A lot of people don't know that.
I think the hog farm right here where we are, up in Sholo, I think they got bought out too.
Yeah, that don't surprise me. Yeah.
You know, and then it's just why we let any foreign entity come in and own anything. I don't know, where's that echo coming from.
Yep. Mine.
I don't know. I heard an echo a little bit. I don't know where it's coming from.
Can you hear that?
I don't know. That's just Timothy whining.
Yeah. Where'd Brett go? Is he shy?
He said he was driving.
Oh, gotcha.
He was driving.
Yeah.
But so anyways, let's go back to dogs, politics.
Yeah.
It just gets everybody riled up. So 17, you started dogs. I am echoing.
Yeah, and you know, I worked for different outfitters, and then in 2009, my brother and I started guide service out here in Nevada, and so we've been going for 15 years. So yeah, we've done well. You know, we kill quite a few lions. We hunt dry ground and snow both, but you know, whether we need a side by side or mule, we take whatever one's most practical. But yeah, the bloodline dogs we have, they're bred for dry ground hunting. That's what we specialize in is dry ground. So we got a little bit of beagle in there. They throw a little bit of beagle in there for more of a trail oriented dog. Here in Nevada, we can't hunt off the brush a whole lot. We don't have a whole lot of brush compared to other states. And the brush that we do have is sagebrush. So sagebrush doesn't hold scent very well. So we kind of got to have more of a trail oriented dog, something that really grubs a track out.
You just picked up a couple dogs.
Yeah, I went down to Arizona and picked up a couple puppies down there, and came back from an old lion hunter down there. It's a good one. And I dropped off in mare in Chino Valley to get bred to great big Jack donkey. He's a monster. He's 16'2". I bet that Jack weighs probably 1,250, 1,300 pounds.
God.
I've been looking for a Jack like that to cross.
Is it a mammoth Jack?
Oh yeah, he's a mammoth, and he's got a lot of bone on him. He's got cannon bones, like almost like he's got cannon bones like
baseball bats.
Oh yeah, yeah, and yeah, he's a nice Jack, and he's a good disposition too. He's just a kind of big teddy bear, and so I dropped a mare off in Chino Valley down there, and then I went to. In fact, I dropped a big mule that I've been working with, and I wasn't making progress with her, so I dropped her off in Santan Valley. So I wasn't far from you.
I know who you dropped them off with too. I bet.
Yeah, you know who? Yeah.
He's a famous TikTok guy.
Yeah. So he's making progress with her. I wasn't. I was just beating my head against the wall. And
I hadn't even seen that guy for a while. I need to.
You know him?
He likes to cause trouble.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My favorite is his training videos. His what is that stupid training called? AA or triple R? What is that? Double R? I don't know what it is. He puts on. He just makes fun of him. So.
Oh yeah. He likes to stir the pot. But he started making really good progress with her, and so then I'll go back down and pick her up, and I got another mule that I'm starting here at my house, and so and then I swung up through Payson and got a couple hound dog puppies. Came home. I was thinking, man, if I was closer to you, I just swung by and.
I'm right here in Phoenix too, man. We could have been lunch. Yeah.
For some reason, I keep on thinking that you're up there and above the rim, all the time.
Depends on what day it is.
Yeah.
I got a big job going on down here, so. They pay me to be here all week. 40 hours a week.
We could have swung by and had a picnic there at Saguaro Lake.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep. So those are going to be probably some good pups, I hope.
Yeah, they should be good ones. Yeah, they're out of a really good lion hunter.
Isn't it hard to get dogs from him?
Yeah, it's tough. Only a select few guys get them.
I think old Brett's talked about it before.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. You get one from him, you probably go pat yourself on the back. So, but
kind of like a little badge of honor.
I've got dogs from him before, but these ones here are probably going to be better than other ones,
Yeah.
But yeah, they should be nice dogs. So
so it's nice. I gave a guy dogs. One of them, he says, is probably going to end up being one of his best dogs. He says she's really hot now, but
yeah,
it always feels good when somebody that runs dogs a lot, that's what it takes. You have to run dogs a lot, but and it always makes you feel good when you kind of got that line. And I actually have a couple little pups, and I said, hey, you want to try this line? Because he knew the people who I got the dogs from originally, the original line back. So he's like, yeah, I'll try them. So I might give him another one of my dogs to make me feel better about myself and reiterate that it's all my fault that my dogs are stupid. not just my dogs,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do they come out of? What do those dogs come out of? You're talking about?
I don't know if you ever knew Tim or Andy Salazar. They were Tim ran all over the state, I believe. He was kind of the Ben Lilly of the modern day He ended up getting killed. So up in Christopher Creek, up on the rim. So his brother was Andy Salazar, and I had got a couple dogs from him. And I thought I pissed him off real bad, which I probably did, and he didn't talk to me for a little while, and I bumped into his nephew and I said, damn, Andy I think he's mad at me because he hadn't talked to me for, a couple years. He goes, oh, he died. He died a couple years ago. I guess he had cancer and died. I didn't know that. Thought he just hated my guts. So, and I have some of his really old line and some of the new line. And I guess there's only one other guy. This is what I'm told. There's one other guy that has that old line too. And that's all he hunted was dry ground. And I guess he collared for game and fish. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I like it. They do good for me, So
pretty good strike dogs, I bet.
Yeah. I mean, I use them. I got out of lion a lot for a while and just got into bear hunting real hard, and then you get back to lion hunting. You got to push their heads down, But I got my older dogs are bear dogs. I'll run them on bear, and a lot of my pups I've been running nothing but like down in the desert. So I won't use them on bear as much. Then I got my stinker dog, which was kind of an FU to all the Jag Terrier people because I was just gonna get a little Jag Terrier run around, little truck dog, do it, and man, they wanted $700 for a Jag Terrier. I'm all.
Oh, really?
I had my son's girlfriend had a mini border collie. I bred it to one of my. It wasn't a Salazar dog. It was actually I was actually told it was a Smith dog, but it's not a Smith dog. I think the guy just trying to make it a Smith dog. But she's one of my best dogs. Yeah. And so I got Stinker. I'm going to tell you, man, that little dog, she ain't going to be but 20 pounds, maybe 25. I doubt it, but she is a cat getting sucker. She loves. Really? So I don't even really train her. Just my dad, between his neighbors, there's like 30 cats that run across this. She'll trail them. She'll tree them. Like I'll hear her and I'll go out there and she'll have them treed. I have videos, even like on my TikTok and YouTube, that she had the cat treed and then it'll run and she'll go in like the bush and strike her up and then chase her out, follow that trail out. So she's doing pretty good for like a really natural, and that's all she does. I take her to work with me. She gets out, she runs to the wall and starts trailing, trying to find where the cats are. And I'll go over there, especially like these last couple of days after it rained. And there she is. There's a little cat track running through there, and she's trying to get it up. So
I'll be dang. And does she have kind of a rough coat like some of those Jags do, and a mustache?
No. She's just mini border collie. So she has the small feet. She's small bodied. She's whiny. But she just got the energetic with a hound nose.
Oh, be dang.
Yeah, I talked to a guy today, telling him about it. He goes, man, that sounds actually like an interesting. And she's not hairy. She looks just like a beagle.
Oh, really?
She looks just like a beagle.
Yeah.
So
I bet she's smart.
She is very smart. Too smart. She knows. She knows. And I made her a pet, but I go out on the hounds, on the mules. She don't care. She is a bougie. She's a bougie little baby. If you watch my Petroglyph video I just put out, my Lucy dog gets a choya right in the bottom of her paw, big chunk, and she's running just So I get off, I pull it out. She just looks at me like, Stinker gets one. First the choya she ever had in her. She just screaming like someone sticking a knife in her leg, just crying like a big baby. And I pull it out and she's fine, goes on her way. But oh my God, over dramatic. That's the border. That's the border collie in her, is the over dramatic. So, but I really think she's going to do really good as far as lion. I was with Jared when he got that lion down south, and when he got back camp, I let her place it. And she's a vicious little dog, so I got to be careful with her.
I bet
I think she's bigger than what she is. So.
Oh yeah, I bet. I bet she'd be pretty good on the jump. After you jump that line, she'd probably be a good free up dog and jump catch type dog.
That's kind of what I like, a Jag Terrier, right?
Yeah,
Like
freeze
they do
up
on the bears or the mice or whatever they're called. But
yeah,
we'll see.
them Yag Terriers, they're about half devil, I think. From what I've heard, they're kind of feisty things, you know.
Yeah, Elizabeth had one. I'm gonna tell
Yeah.
you what, that thing made it to every tree.
Oh,
There
bad.
was times that we let the bear go, and that damn Jack Terrier took off again. We'd have to let the dogs go again because
Yeah.
like her collar failed or whatever. But
Yeah. Gotcha.
what
Yeah.
we got here? Jack 5 weeks. He loves the hogs, lambs. You guys run beagles a little bit.
Yeah, we throw a little bit of beagle in there, you know. Yeah.
Why?
Just makes them dogs a little more grounded. They don't get in the habit of trailing and then throwing their head up too much. Then beagles kind of keep them to where they want to cold trail some. If you pinch it back to where they got, I don't know, 3/8 or 7/16 beagle, that's about right. And that dog still has the desire to catch game, but he still wants to cold trail. And they're a good strike dog. They strike that track really well, and they strike hard. There's not much wagging their tail and whining and then muffling and then you strike. If there's a line track there, they let you know it. Whether it's 2 or 3 days old and you're not going to catch it, or if it's night old, it's pretty definite that there's a line track there. So we cross a little bit of that beagle in there, and then I don't like big dogs. Some guys like them. I don't. I like small dogs. So
I just talked to a guy today about that. I got my dirty dog's a bigger dog, but I was running them on bear. Yucky's a bigger dog. Rest of my dogs, very medium sized. And a lot of this line that I got coming out right now, they're actually probably just under medium. And I like a small hound. You know what I mean? A good medium hound. But, I brought this up a couple of Mondays ago on Brett's, but what do you look for in a puppy? Like you went and got a couple puppies, and I talked about this before where when I was bird dogging and I was looking for labs, like my thing to do is I'd put them on a table with a chair by it. And if that lab was smart, if it just jumped off the table, I just thought he was dumb. But if he kind of circled around and then jumped on that chair and got off, I figured, well, he uses his brain. That was kind of my little, thing I did. But what about hounds? What do you look? I know who you got them from.
Yeah.
I know it's like, but even then, even a good line, you're 50-50,
Yeah.
like you know this. You could breed 2 good dogs, get a bad dog. You could breed 2. Most of your people's best dog, this is crazy, is an accident.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? It's a cross you probably wouldn't have made. Jip came in heat, they run, they get knocked up. And you're like, you keep one of them, and it's like, damn, that's my best dog. What do you look for?
Obviously, I like conformation. I like dogs that sit up on their feet good. But that old timer I got them dogs from, him and I were both talking about that, and he had 2 of them pups in the back of his truck. They're at his house, and he said, "Which one would you pick?" And I said, "That one." And he said, "That's the one I'd pick too." And and I said, "Yeah, I'd probably pick that one." And we were both talking about that, and we both agreed that dark eyes. I'm not dead set on it, but it seems like them hounds with dark eyes, for some reason, they got a little bit more of a sound mind. I don't know. Some guys say that's a wives' tale, and I've got some dogs that a little bit lighter eyes, but when they're puppies, if they got dark eyes, it's almost like they got something behind them. Something inside that skull that's rattling around that's worth something, and they're kind of smart. And I like a little bit darker eyes, and to go pick out a pup, and then conformation. I like small pups, but sometimes them bigger pups out of litter are good too. They're really good. So I don't know, but that one there, back of that truck, that guy had something there behind his toolbox, and the pup I picked, was trying to sniff it out, and I don't know if it was a candy bar or something, part of a sandwich or something. That dog was working really hard to try to get that.
Find it.
And the other pup wasn't as inclined to work that hard, but I don't know. I don't know. They both had dark eyes, but the one I picked had a little bit darker eyes. So I don't know if there's any truth to that. So I think there is, though.
You have your own puppies too.
Yeah.
That like you have that advantage too, because with me, I have a litter of puppies. I got a whelping pen. You know, when they're 4 weeks old. Well, I got twin 5-year-old girls, 4-year-olds.
Oh.
I throw them. I open that box. I throw them in the box. I let them girls just roughhouse them pups when they're 2-3 weeks old. You know, so they can be handled. And then when they're 4 weeks old, I spray a little scent on a little stuffed animal. I go play with them. Just play with them.
Yeah.
But I have that opportunity, and then I let them loose. They run loose for 3, 4, 5, 6 months around my yard. And I'll take hamburger or hot dog, whatever, and I'll throw it out in the yard. I've said this 100 times, but I'm like, whoop, throw it out in the yard and call them. So now they know to come to me. Whoop,
Yeah.
they come to me. I throw that out in the yard, and I watch which ones go look for it, really look for it, and then I watch the one that sits there and waits for me to throw it. That's the lazy one. That one that sits there is the lazy one, you know.
Yeah.
But that's how I kind of watch them work their nose too. I throw that hamburger. Usually I use hamburger that's really small. I'll just take a handful and I'll throw it out there, call them over there, and they'll come running, and you'll watch them like a dog. You know, he's going, all of a sudden he does a 90-degree, puts his nose down. That's what I watch for. I watch for them dogs to run across that hamburger and which one, like, real quick tries to find it. But that stinker dog I got, she smells everything all the time. All the time. A guy walks up, smells it. A guy pulls up in the truck. I don't know if it's because she trees cats inside our trucks. She'll get them up in the engine. She'll bark. She'll go smell under every truck at the job site. Everything. All day long. She's caught a couple cats under a metal building we had.
That's
She goes over there and tries to find it. And when I walk over there to use the J-John, she knows I'm going over there. She'll run over there and try to find that cat. It's crazy. Stinking border collie, mini border collie. So
that's crazy. Yeah, she's hyper focused on finding a house cat.
Oh yeah, and heaven forbid I say go find him. Oh, then she's like, she's on it. So.
Oh yeah, that's like, that's some dogs have it, some dogs don't. You know, that kind of like goes back to what you're talking. Sometimes the best crosses out there are accidents. We had an accident here. My niece was taking care of our dogs while we were out of town, and one of my dogs, my male dogs here, he didn't get off the chain, but the female that was in heat did, and I didn't keep any of them pups, and I gave them to all kinds of people. I didn't have much thought about it. I'm like, I don't know if they're going to work out. Everybody that got those pups says, man, those are awesome dogs. You got to make that cross again. And then that dog got killed and eaten by a lion.
That's how it works too.
Yeah. And
how it works.
In fact, actually, I think I might have cut him before that anyhow, but it's one of those things where it was a good cross. It was unintentional, but it worked out. And they're two totally different bloodlines. That the female came out of Van Johnson's stuff, and the male was out of our stuff. And you know, he's an 8th Beagle, and you couldn't see it in him, but it was a good cross. Everybody that got one said, man, those dogs are phenomenal. There's one guy, he's a government lion hunter over there by Reno. He praises that dog like that's the sun sets on his head. And I thought,
always makes you feel kind of good.
I guess. I'm like, you know, he's always praising that dog like it's his kid or something. I'm like, I'd like to see how he trails against his relatives, that I got. But like we're getting ready to make a cross here pretty soon of a female that's 7/16 Beagle. Or no, I'm sorry, she's 5/8 Beagle, and we're gonna cross her to her uncle. So those pups will be, less than half. And I'm curious to see how that works out. I'll just do it once because you know how line breeding goes. You do it once, and then you do an outcross. But I'm pretty optimistic about that one because those pups out of that litter, out of her litter, man, they're very, very trail oriented. You know, they're striking 2 and 3 day old lion tracks that other dogs aren't striking quite as good. But you know, 20-mile-an-hour wind, and they're still striking them, but they're moving them. They're moving them fast enough to catch the lion still. But the thing I like about that litter there is they're not mouthy. They only bark when they're supposed to. They're not barking off track or barking because they're excited or they get too much. You know, have you ever noticed some dogs get a bunch of scent and then they bark more than they should?
Yeah.
And I only wanted to bark just the bare minimum. And those ones, they're about perfect, you know, and they're small. She's probably 32, 33 pounds, and you know, her litter mates are 38, 37, 36, something like that. But cross her to her uncle, and her uncle is a quarter beagle. She's 5/8, so you divide that, and it's 7/16 beagle. But it's gonna be about right, you know. And they're gonna be compact, small dogs, well built. So I'm kind of excited about that. So
you hounding around. You find yourself working with Stinker more. I didn't work with Stinker at all, really. I've never done a drag with Stinker. She just got down here to my dad's house, and she, you know, at first she like see the cats, and I didn't really force her. And next thing I know, she's treeing and running and then she's getting vicious with them and trailing them. Like there's a hole in a shed, and she's just barking at that hole. So I went and opened the door, and she runs around, goes in that shed, and bays the cat up because it was under a shelf, and gets in there, finds that cat, and just I've never had to do nothing with Stinker. Like she just with me a lot. That's what Stinker is with me a lot. So, but even at work, even where my site I'm on, she'd be barking, and I look over, and there goes the cat. She has it under a building, and the cat will run, jump a wall. So she's really kind of a natural. You know, her mom is my Vodka dog, so she's a good dog. She trails and does everything, but not that good. She just does good. I hadn't had to train her really, you know, and it's really amazing to me the way she smells everything. I'm not talking just, I'm a sniff that leaf. I'm talking she sniffs this side of the leaf and then goes over here and sniffs this side of the leaf. You know what I mean? So she's real meticulous in trying to pinpoint that smell. So I'm hoping it don't hurt me too bad, but once she gets going, she don't bark a lot unless she sees the cat. And when she's trailing, if it's really hot, she'll bark. Because she knows she's close. But I don't know. It's kind of a too good to be true dog. You know, you're like, probably get ran over or parvo or something, you know.
Heartworm. Come to think of it.
Heartworm, because I've never had heartworm. That's probably what it would be.
Yeah. I guess we do vaccinate for it. I've never had it, but a guy I'm friends with here in Colorado, he got it, and you know he's about the same. I don't know, the same distance from where you guys are. You know, he's central Colorado, but he got it, but it's rare, you know. But we do vaccinate for it or whatever, you know, medicate for it. But yeah, just you're lucky you'd have her get heartworm, because heartworm and I think valley fever too. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, I had a dog. This dog was a black and tan. I don't know where it came from. It was my uncle's wife's dog. Mm-hmm. We kept dogs on a property, and we'd go up. I lived kind of where I couldn't keep dogs. I had a dog a couple miles away on my other property. I'd go get them. We'd go down to the creek. This damn black and tan would go 5 miles to where we were and hunt with us.
Yeah.
So we'd put him up, take him home. He did that. We ended up trading dogs, but he got that valley fever and he survived it. But it messed up his, like it just messed up some of them, but he still hunted. He still hunted. He lived and it didn't cripple him. But that's kind of, man, I used to not vaccinate for nothing.
Yeah.
But parvo hit me really hard one year. I'm talking dead in 24 hours parvo. Really bad.
That is bad.
And I could save a dog with parvo. Like I've had Nina, my vet tech, on it. She tells me exactly what's in it. She told everybody what it was. I call it the juice. You know, we juice them up. I call her, I say I got parvo. She injects stuff in the IV bag. I go get it. Like green. I give them so much that they pee that green. Like it just absorbs. I used to save dogs. And I'm going to tell you, when I saved a dog with parvo, my Andy dog, he was dead. Drug him out of this dog box, black eyes. And I juiced him up. Has B12 in it too, you know, a little. And he lived. And he was a tough dog. It's almost like you get chicken pox, you're not going to get him again. I think that parvo just makes him hard.
He like almost developed an immunity to it.
To everything in life.
Oh, wow.
Well, even smarts. He had heart. He was a dog that I put my gun to his head more than once and said, I'm done with you. But God dang, man. I always explain to people he was like Lenny off of Mice and Men, the big dumb guy that could work hard.
Oh, yeah.
He had heart and he would go all day long. He just dumb.
Dumb. So. No, be dang. Some of them are just too dumb to quit sometimes, you know. They have a lot of tenacity and they just keep driving forward. And sometimes it's the dog that's a little bit smarter. He looks at it and says, we're not going to catch this lion. And the dog that's not that smart, he has a lot of heart, he just keeps pushing forward. And that dog that's, you know, a little smarter, a little more intuitive,
trying to really line it out more than he should,
he just kind of hangs out and is like, oh, hey, dumbass over here got it straightened out.
Let the dummy go first.
I'm going to go catch the lion, guys. I'm going to be the superstar. He gets all the credit, you know. But the other dog comes trailing into the tree.
So when do you start training your dogs? Like I know you probably train them young, but when do you really start putting them out there? How do you start them? Like as a pup, like those pups you got now, how are you going to start those?
Yeah, we'll start them. You know, we'll start taking them along when they're about 8 or 10 months. You know, we don't do a whole lot of the old house cat stuff. We just right here where we live is pretty rural, so we're pretty blessed to have all this grounds. We just let them run loose in the daytime. We don't let them run loose all the time, but when we're doing something around here, whether we're working with horses or mules or doing projects around our place, we let all 17 dogs run loose, and they can go chase ground squirrels, rabbits, whatever they want. Once we go hunting, them dogs, it's almost like there's an off switch, so they can trail whatever they want around here. Some pups get to learn how to, dig out ground squirrels, trail rabbits, whatever it is, and that kind of lets them learn how to pack into the rest of the pack, and they're comfortable with it by the time you take them lion hunting. Load them up when they're 8, 9 months, 7 or 8 months, and take them hunting, whether it's behind a mule or kicking them out of a truck or side by side. They're used to that because they're used to the big dogs barking at a squirrel in the ground. But like our big dogs, our older dogs, they can be barking at a squirrel in the ground. We go lion hunting, they don't really bat an eye at it. It's almost like there's an off switch. They know, okay, that stuff's off limits when you go out.
Once the collar goes on.
Yeah, maybe that's a good chance. They probably associate it with that collar and being loaded up in the truck and all that, and you don't really have to worry about it. But around here, they get a lot of exposure to a lot of different situations. And like my wife's told me this before. You get dogs that are running loose like this all day long, and they're digging at, you got 10 or 12 dogs or 8 dogs digging out one squirrel. You find out a lot of problems you're going to have at the tree right there at that squirrel hole or that rabbit hole.
Possessiveness, aggressiveness,
dog fights, possessiveness, whatever you got. A lot of that you see that stuff come to the surface before you get back out there again, So you can see that in the puppies too. They're all out there digging something out, and you get a puppy, and he kind of starts pushing them old dogs out of the way, and he's trying to squirm in there and try to dig out too. You're like, that's going to be a good one. Good chance, not 100%, but there's a decent chance that's going to be a good dog.
It's a good trait.
Yeah, exactly. He's showing some promise.
So you don't take him, like if you're just running around, you don't take him. Like I'm kind of bad because I'll take my 3, 4, well, not 3. I'll take my 5, my 6-month-old when I go just ride. I'm not really looking for a lion, but if I bump a lion, I'll take him with me just to get him out, used to the mule, used to the cholla, the cactus terrain. You know what I mean? I don't typically run them hard. It's not like I'm running them hard every day. Just I get them out going. And that whole theory of letting them run loose, that Andy guy, he said, let them chase rabbits. Let them chase whatever they want in the yard. It just teaches them how to hunt. You'll fine tune them later.
Exactly. Yeah.
And my neighbor would call me. I had a litter one time, and they were literally 8 weeks old, 9 weeks old, running around the yard. And my neighbor calls me, hey, your cute little puppies are over here, and they're all treeing my cat. That's like proud dad moment, when they're like 9, 10 weeks old. And I'm like, oh man, if they were 5, 6 months old, that cat probably ain't gonna make it. But
yeah.
I just love raising dogs, and I know a lot of people don't have the opportunity to raise dogs, and there's not a lot of talk or video about. I always wanted to make a video about start to finish. Take one puppy, just one, and train them start to finish. And then I start it and I don't finish it because you just get going, and you'd have to not have dogs almost and just take one puppy and show how you train it. Everybody has, of course, right, their different styles, but I love to listen to people, whether I agree with it or not. I will take any advice I can get to train a puppy.
Oh yeah. 100%. You can always learn something from someone. Sometimes it's what not to do, and sometimes you got to find out for yourself.
That was my other question. And I've asked this before. I believe in order for you to be a good houndsman, you should take a puppy, train it by yourself, ruin yourself, whatever, rather than go buy a dog and not learn your dog. I think if you raise your puppy just like where the red fern grows type stuff, you know what I mean? You're going to learn more about yourself and the puppy than if you just go buy dogs. I know people just go buy dogs. I just don't think they're going to be the houndsmen. I think they run dogs. Yeah. But I don't think they're going to be a houndsman. Maybe not until maybe they raise some puppies on their own, but you kind of get spoiled when you have older dogs.
Yeah, you do.
You don't have to train as hard, right?
No, you don't. And I guess I could agree with you on that on one point, but on the other point, it's I have guys that ask me, so they ask me, how do I get into this, and how do I do this? And as much as I'd like to agree with you on that, a lot of the time I tell them, get an old dog. Get one that somebody's getting ready to retire. Just one. All you need is one. Don't get 20 of them. And let that old dog help you train them puppies. And I don't know. That's my advice.
I had an old dog too. Yeah. I did the puppy drags training. And then I ended up with a 15-year-old dog. Took her down to the creek. She trained. Puppy trainer.
And the thing about them old dogs is, when they get 12, 15 years old, they slow down and they're honest. They're very honest. They might be kind of grouchy to them pups, but they're very honest. And once that pup clicks, he's a year to a year and a half old, he starts out doing that old dog. And that builds his confidence. And his litter mate, he does the same, not too far behind him. And pretty soon they're out doing that old dog, and sometimes that old dog gets his feelings hurt, but most time they don't, but I don't know. Yeah. That's the surefire way, I'd say. But a lot of guys, they make the mistake of getting, one decent dog and a bunch of young dogs that are, maybe somebody's calls, and they throw them all together and say, okay, well, let's see what happens. And it's a train wreck,
Yeah.
and it don't work, but I don't know. That's just my
I
thoughts.
think 75% of people who first get into dogs get a bunch of dogs from people who take this pup. Maybe they got too many puppies or just, and that is a train wreck.
Yeah. It's waiting to happen too.
My advice to people who say, I want to get into dogs is don't. Go find somebody that has dogs. Give them a little gas money. Go clean the shit out of their pens for them, whatever you want to do, but don't get into dogs.
It's probably cheaper for them to just follow along with their buddy and then get into drugs and the rest of their time off.
Get into drugs, you go have a bunch of babies with child support. It's still be cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's just cheaper just get into drugs. You get the same result.
It's easier to get an older dog and help you train, you know. But and I guess I would probably be talking more about going and buying a pack of dogs that already hunts. You're not going to learn nothing. You're not going to learn how to read a dog. Even with that old dog and that puppy, you're going to watch that puppy grow. Yeah. I just feel you have to watch a puppy grow. Like
exactly.
And how he learns, and you got to make those mistakes, man. Most people, they get in a dog, they don't catch nothing for 2-3 years.
That's true.
And if they stick with it, they're going to stick with it. Just like a dog.
They can gut it out. When I first started hunting, I hunted with some outfitters in Colorado, and I had a couple young dogs that kind of come out of that Arizona stuff that you know about, and one of them was a slow starter, and that old timer told me, he's like, yeah, your dogs, they're just not really clicking this year. He told me, well, go trail coons all summer, and I trailed coons all summer long, and the next winter I was catching lions like clockwork
because they were learning how to trail,
because they learned how to cold trail. And I just kick my dogs down on these river bottoms. They're dry. It looks like Badlands type dirt,
cat litter.
Yeah, really, really dry. Yeah. And then there's a strip of cottonwoods and green grass right along the river. I just let them dogs cold trail, and I had permission from the landowner, so I had about 6,000 acres to just let them dogs cold trail. And I just sit in my truck and listen to them and walk out there and follow them a bit. And sometimes I just lay underneath a cottonwood tree and take a nap and listen to them trail. And this is before GPS. I had telemetry collars, so I just had to make sure they didn't go north towards the interstate and get hit, and just let them trail. And I probably trailed, I don't know, 5 or 6 before I caught my first coon. And I don't know, that year I probably trailed, 50 or 60 coons in the dirt, really dry conditions.
Yeah.
They come that winter, man, I was catching lions like crazy. I still had a couple deer races until I straightened them out.
Yeah.
But man, I was catching a lot of lions, and I'm like, man, that made a huge difference, because a lot of people don't realize to catch lions, especially in tough lions, dogs have to learn how to cold trail.
Yes.
That's all there is to it. If you don't have a dog that can strike a tough track and cold trail, you're not going to catch very many lions. You're going to catch some easy ones, but you're not going to catch very many other ones. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Went from there. The rest was kind of easy, after I got past that hump.
Their coons are a little bit stinkier, right? So it's still dry ground, but at least there's some scent they can cold trail. So exactly. Then when they get in the wintertime, they get that snow, they're like, heck yeah.
Exactly, because, in the snow, they run that track by sight for 20, 30 feet, put their nose in it, check it. And, you get into places where that snow is blown in and out, and they got to search around more. But I knew I was doing good when them dogs would come back from trailing all night. I'd go catch them, call them in. That's back when you ran a telemetry collar and a Tritronics collar all at the same time. You hope the telemetry collar didn't lie to you and say the dogs are 10 miles in the opposite direction, because the signals would bounce. Get them back, and their lips are wore down like lipstick, and their lips are raw. They're like, okay, I did good tonight. Next night, do the same thing. Next night, do the same thing, and then pretty soon they got it down. They start catch coons, pretty tough coons in summertime and really dry conditions, desert conditions that are along a river. Then you're pretty confident. And then you go lion hunting in the fall and you smoke them. Yeah, the rest is kind of history, you know.
Well, here's another question that me and Benny, like I always give Benny crap about, but it's genetics. You know what I mean? Do you look at genetics, or can you just breed 2 ungenetic dogs that are doing good? Benny loves those genetics, and I get it. You know, but they always bring up they always bring up the Secretarian horse where he didn't throw nothing that was worth anything.
Yeah. Or look at Bodacious. Yeah. He wasn't a very good sire either.
So, and you can take, this goes back to, you could take 2 bred up paper champions genetic dogs and maybe not get nothing real good out of them.
Yeah.
Do you think the chances are better, or like I said, a lot of these backyard breeding grade dogs are some ridiculously good dogs, you know?
Yeah.
So do you give, and how long do you, so what do you think, genetics, you go off genetics, or you just kind of go off of what the parents do, or?
Yeah, a little bit of both, you know. Most time you look at the parents and you know what the parents did. So you look at it and say, okay, this parent was a slow starter. This one was a fast starter. And very seldom do you get a happy medium. You get one or the other. And I've found. So, you know, the male, he might look like his mother, act like his mother, but he might start slow like his dad and sound like his dad. Vice versa. So you kind of just got to throw that in there. But a lot of guys, you know, they're dead set on, I want a pup going on lines at 8 months old. That's ridiculous. I kind of got a line drawn right at about that 1.5 year mark. Some of the best line dogs I ever had were 1.5 years old before the light bulb turned on. And they said, this is what I'm supposed to do. And 2 lions later, they're caught up to their litter mates that were fast starters, and they surpassed their litter mates.
Yeah.
Not saying I want slow starters, but you know, after a while, you get to be able to read a dog. Sometimes you look in his eyes and say, well, hell, that dog just don't have it.
Yeah.
You know, he's kind of lost cause, but you kind of sometimes look at it and say, well, that dog's going to turn on. It's just, you know, another 2 or 3 months. So yeah, you just got to be able to read them, and some guys can read them really well, and some guys can't. You know, if you can read a dog good, and you know, tell your buddy, hey, hold off on getting rid of that dog. He's got some promise. You know, sometimes that helps.
Yeah.
It all depends on what you see in them. You know, sometimes those dogs, you look at them and you can tell, you know, the engine's running, but nobody's behind the wheel.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's you know, if the dog's not aggressive or hard to handle, that's a better pet dog, you know, pet home or whatever.
Well, if you can find a pet home, someone that wants a dog. My cousin has 3 of my dogs, or 2 of my dogs. They're just pets, big fat hounds that sleep on the back of the couch.
Yeah.
But what's crazy is he goes out and they'll get down and they'll trail a bear. You know, they'll trail everything else.
Cool. Yeah.
They'll go out and they'll hunt, you know.
Yeah.
And, he has to be careful because he's in California. So even when he's just out hiking, or, you know, he's had them trail bear before. So it's in their blood, and you'll know when it's in their blood, you know. So
yeah.
And he didn't take those dogs to hunt. He took those dogs as a pet.
Exactly. And they're in your pack, they'd be, you know, C- dogs instead of A+ dogs.
Yeah.
You know, they're just mediocre at best, you know, and they say, okay, he's just a dog. He's nothing special. You know, one of those things. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's kind of a crapshoot. It really is. Best thing a guy can do is, is look at it and say, I have to have more of that.
Yeah.
If you look at it and say, well, I could do without, don't cross that dog. But if you look at that dog and say, I have to have more of that, and I have to have more of that, then cross those 2 dogs. There's a better chance, you know. But yeah, like Benny says, yeah, I'm kind of into those bloodlines too, and I know a lot of those bloodlines that he's probably looking at too, and those are the ones I want because I like that, you know.
They're known to be good.
Yeah, it's it's generation after generation after generation. So yeah, yes.
I think if you took a handful of genetics and you took a handful of backyard dogs, I think you'd be happy on both sides.
Yeah, there's a good chance. Yeah.
And then you talk about reading your dog. I think I think that's going away. A lot of people don't know how to read their dogs or pay attention to their dogs. They don't trust their dogs. They get a dog, especially these kids these days that are buying dogs. They think they're just going to buy a dog, open the tailgate, and go catch a lion or bear.
Because daddy's got money, Their dad has a lot of money or something.
Yeah, exactly.
They can drop 30 grand on a pack or 40.
Yep. And that pack could be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. You nailed it. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. A lot of guys can't read a dog. They really can't.
Yeah.
They can't.
And you just have to. Well, they don't spend time with them either.
Mm-mm.
And then you get the guys that are weekend warriors, and I get it. You got a job. We all got jobs. We're not lucky. A lot of people aren't lucky enough to get to hunt every day. Period. So, and those dogs that they got, they might be catching them 1 or 2 things. That might be all they need a year. Going out on the weekends. Yeah. Once you get a dog under some game, that's important. Getting them under that game. But I mean, I've hunted with guys that told me to come hunt with them because their dogs don't tree really hard. My dog's tree. My dog's tree. So they would want me to come along because their dogs weren't really, they trailed like a sucker all day long, but the treeing was weak.
Yeah.
And they're just not interested. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I had cats around my yard that my dog would fight. I used to have a cat that had a litter. Every time I had a litter, I seen. And my dog would chase that. I had a good training cat. It ran around the yard. Good training. Brett Vaughn trying to call me. That's the way I see it too. Brett thought we were done.
Oh, no. Never done. Ever.
What else you got for us? Got any tips or hints or?
Yeah, the only thing I could say is if somebody's going into lion country and they're not good at, say if you're going dry ground lion hunting and you're not really well versed in it, I'd go into the spots that have good brush and a fair amount of water. Look at kind of some of the nasty, rugged stuff with a lot of brush in the bottom and fair amount of vegetation, because what happens, you might not have a great dog, but if you go into them spots, have a lot of vegetation and water, that line's going to do zigzags. And even if you got a mediocre dog, that dog could strike that track better. But if you're over on an open hillside and it doesn't really look like a real good hot spot, your dog has one chance at that line track. And if he's not a strike dog, you're not going to strike that lion. But if you go down in that spot to where that lion serpentines, he zigzags and wanders back and around, and you have a lot better chance at finding that lion. And then you can get him struck and just make sure you're going the right way. And then you can start trailing him, and you might not catch him, but you're going to get some trailing in.
Yep.
And that lion, if he's in that tight, rugged canyon with water and brush and all that stuff, he's not going to go as far as if he was out on a kind of big barren hillside or kind of desert flats or something.
Ooh, those desert flats.
Yeah, like you guys got that grama grass, that's that grama grass, them flats, that's not easy to trail in. But if you get down in them canyons where you got a little bit of willow brush or up on the north side of a north facing slope where you got some manzanita brush, them dogs can strike off that scent, off that brush. That scent holds better on there. and it's in the shade, you can strike that scent better. So if you're going to concentrate your efforts, even if you don't have a mule, if you're just hunting off a side by side and you're walking up canyons, walk up the bottom of those canyons where the lions kind of like to mill around, hang around. Walk up there half a mile. If you don't find nothing, load up, go to your side by side or your pickup truck, go to the next canyon. If you don't have a mule, that's better than riding all over.
I tell you what, mules aren't always good.
No, there's a place for them. There's a place that's.
If you're hunting that flat desert, or you know what I mean, if you're hunting a little flat area, the mules are good. But when you start getting in dirty stuff, it's hard to maneuver those mules up through there unless you have a real good mule. But even then, you could move faster on foot in some of them areas.
Oh yeah, half the time you end up tying up, hiking down in there to check underneath the rock ledge, and it's stuff that your hand over fist or going down through boulder piles. You ain't gonna take my mule down through that. I'm gonna climb down there, loosen his cinch first, so he can breathe while you hike down there. If you tie him up, just loosen his cinch so he can breathe and kind of cool off. Or if you're gonna be a long while,
pull the saddle,
pull that saddle, and let him cool off, and then come back.
And then because you're gonna throw that saddle under a tree anyways, and then you're gonna come back and you can use that saddle as a pillow.
Exactly. And I always take my saddle pad and my blanket and throw it over. And you tip your saddle up on the horn.
Yeah.
So it stand up, and then let that saddle pad and blanket
dry out.
And then when you come back, because truth of the matter is, you might be down there 3 hours instead of 20 minutes.
Oh, if you think it's 20 minutes, it's gonna be 4 hours. We got in a bad spot in Globe a couple years ago. That's what we did. We tied. I think I pulled my saddle. Walked down, and it took my son 2.5 hours to go 80 yards and get these dogs out of there. Yeah, that's just, and we didn't even make it down to the other spot. We had to come back next day and pick up dogs that went around.
Yeah.
So, but you're right. If you're starting out, find an area that has lions.
Yeah,
a lot of lions.
Yeah.
Don't try to hunt this crappy greasewood flats hard. Don't hunt hard. Try to find an area you can get your dogs on a lion.
Yeah.
And that's what snow hunting's good for, right?
Yeah,
training them dogs.
You can put them on them and let them lock in, and then you can transition over to snow. If you got the right kind of dog, it's a whole lot easier,
Yep.
I do both, but I do both, but there's guys that have snow dogs that would make mine look slow. But when it comes to dry ground hunting, my dogs are exactly what I want because they go slow and they don't overrun tracks. But we go back to that point. If you're just starting out, just walk up the bottom of those canyons. You can make it easy, you make it hard, but walk up the bottom of those canyons, walk up there maybe in a mile, half a mile. Turn around, come back, go to your pickup truck, go to the next canyon, and eventually you're going to strike one. And once you strike them, make sure you're going the right way and let them trail. But if you don't know what direction they're going, you can't tell, just let them trail. That's even if you're trailing backwards, that's good practice.
They're still trailing.
Yeah, right? They're still trailing. Heck yeah, and they're getting psyched up about lion hunting. They're still cold trailing. And sometimes what happens is you don't know which direction they're going, but just let them trail. And sometimes they might be going the wrong direction, but they bump into that lion's fresh track or another lion's fresh track. Mm-hmm. Here's another point to make. If they're already on that tough track, say it's really tough, it's 24 hours old and they're just pecking along, and they hit a smoking fresh track, they're not going to miss that smoking fresh track, and they're going to roll on it. But
let them go.
If you're just hiking along and you got a smoking fresh track, they're still not going to miss it, but there's a less chance of them missing it if they're already cold trailing on a tough one. So if you don't know if they're going frontwards or backwards, just let them trail and sit there up on a rock and just watch them and just enjoy it. That's what.
That's what it is. It's people think you're going to drop the tailgate, go catch a lion, and I think if you're a houndsman, if you can sit on your mule or sit up in that and enjoy even if they're not trailing, just watching them look for a track is crazy. And my old dogs, they do it, and you're like, it's old dog. But you see them puppies, when you see an old dog run over to the creosote, sniff it up and down, go away, and you watch that young pup watch that old pup dog, and that young pup runs over there, does this same thing. You're like, he's learning.
Oh yeah,
he's learning. So if you're having proud dad moments, watching your dogs, more than likely you're a dog guy, you're a houndsman, or you want to be a houndsman. I don't know if you're gonna be one, but you're trying, But
yeah, exactly.
Find an area that has a lot of lions and just go. Boots on the ground.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, just getting them on a lion track is the main part, and the weather warms up and them dogs aren't trailing good. Sometimes gather them up, go water them, let them cool off, and then take them back and let them trail it again. And they might be able to move it a bit. Just let them keep packing along. If they want to go back to water and water up, I've had a lot of dogs. They'll be trailing line, packing along. They get hot. They know where that water is. They jumped over that creek. They didn't water at it when they're trailing that line, but they're packing along. Sometimes they'll go back, water up, and haul ass back up there and go back to trailing. Just let them do that, and they know when they need to be watered up. Sometimes you got to pull them and cool them off and let them water up. But yeah, just let them go do their thing. But it's surprising how much a young dog, just will watch them older dogs as they get along. Them old dogs, they'll read each other's body language. I swear I don't know if they're clairvoyant, if they got eyes in the back of their head, but I swear they can tell when another dog struck. He didn't say nothing, but they just know, and then they go to it.
It's what he said. That's the same with rig and bear.
Yeah.
You'll have rigs all day long, but a rig. And a lot of people are like, how do you know he's barking? People get excited. You take him with them, or when you're out hunting even on mules, and that dog's like, burr, and you know yourself. That's nothing. You see what he does. A strike. When he's like, holy shit, we're gonna chase a lion. Or same with a rig on a, and people all the time are like, oh, what is it? I'm like, I don't know. Thermals coming down. It could be anything. But I said, you'll know a truck shaker rig when it happens. And shit, you get a good rig and the truck, every dog knows what that dog said. That dog said, here's a bear. And the other dogs know he said, here's a bear. Just like when they strike on the ground, that dog said, I got a track. And all the dogs perk up, run over, like, damn, he got something. They speak the language. We just watch them.
Exactly. So, yeah, for sure. You know what? The coolest thing about it is when you get that dog he's on the payroll and he's starting to catch his own lions, and your old timers start going to him.
Let him do the work.
To me, that's pretty neat. When them old dogs that are 8, 9, 10 years old, they start honoring your dog that's 2 years old, and they say, "Oh, he knows this stuff. I'm going to go to him. He's whipping his tail. He might not say anything at all, but they read his body language, and they can sense that he's got something going. He might be kind of silently whining under his breath or muffling under his breath. They honor him, and then." And I don't know, he's kind of the kingpin at that moment.
Yeah.
And they honor him, and you're like, well, that's my new superstar, nothing against the old ones, but you're like, that dog, he's the foreman on this one.
Yeah. Just like when your kid shoots his first buck, finds it, shoots it, skins it out. You're like, yeah, he's learning. That's another thing too. You get a lot of, like, I got a 10-year-old dog right now, and he's my lead dog, Dirty. And everybody panics about this. None of my dogs. If I lose him, I'm done. But you'll see when those dogs get pulled or they die or you don't take them. When the other dogs, because they lean on him, obviously he's the alpha. But when he's gone, all of a sudden you'll see dogs that didn't really work too much step up.
Yeah.
And it might not even be the dog you think sitting next in line. Might just be some, like you said, 2-3-year-old pup. That's like, maybe they had some sort of, he's the elder, I'm not going to step on his toes kind of, communication with him. And then once that old dog is out of the way, sometimes you see them other dogs step up and take over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think we all worry about that when you have a dog that does it all, and all your other dogs are like, yeah, he'll be good. He'll be good. He'll be good. Yeah. So when that dog dies, you panic. But I think a lot of times you'll see another dog in that pack step into his, his leadership role. You see that? Have you seen that?
Yep. I've seen that. And, a lot of guys ask me, well, which one's your lead dog? I said, which day?
Yeah.
I'm like, which day? I said, that dog there, he's caught, truckloads of lines, probably 150 lines. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he's the best one here, because that dog that's caught 12 lines, he's been on 12 lines. He has just as good of capability as that dog that's caught 120 lines. But by the time he's been on 12 lines, more than, less than that, probably 8 or 10 lines, he more than knows the drill.
Yeah.
So he's going to fall into it, and some dogs fall into it earlier and some dogs fall into it later. But that's everybody said, oh, which one's your lead dog? I said, which day? Because once they're on that payroll, there's a threshold right there at that 1.5 year mark. By the time they're 1.5 years old, most of them are, they're pulling their weight. From that point on, once they become a lion dog, it's hard telling which one's going to be the best one that day. But if I don't, like a lot of guys, they do that. They rely on one dog. It's like, no, I can't do that. I can't. So I have to have a whole pile of lead dogs, because if I don't, I'm out of business. What if that dog gets hurt? No, I can't do that.
Yeah, exactly. When is that dog going to go down?
Yeah. It's like you got to have a bunch of good mules. You can't have just one good mule that you can put clients on. You got to have more than one good mule you put clients on. You got to have a bunch, because what if something happens to that one? You got to have 3 or 4 others that you can put somebody on that can't ride and hasn't been on a mule in 20 years, So, I don't know.
How many dogs do you have, and what are their names? I've never had so.
Oh,
that's a lot of dogs. You got a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
How many dogs you got right now?
I don't know. I think 16 or 17.
Yeah.
So, hell, I don't know. I got. Oh crap! Let me start at the south end of my dog yard and go north and then loop around. So, start out with Bourbon, and then Al, and Red, and Spider, and Satin, Magpie, Quail, Squeak, Gremlin, Pica, Waco, Peyote, Corduroy, and Woodrow. Huh?
I knew Becky was over there.
And Huey.
I knew Becky was over there whispering names.
Hell, I probably missed a couple, but I don't know.
I go through talking about names. I went through a Spanish thing, and it was all food. I had a litter. I had queso, huevos, leche.
Mucho comida.
Yeah, I had all. It was all. So I had a dog, Frosty, and she had a litter, and so I went through and found. I had Morozny, Helado, Dinjan, and it all means like ice or frosty in other languages. Russian, Portuguese, Spanish is Helado.
I was gonna say some of those ain't Spanish.
I just jump around, So I got Morozny, and that's it's like means frosty in Ukraine or Russian. I don't remember now, but yeah. So I don't know. I just get through. One time I'm just naming them. I had rock, dirt, I just sand. You know what I mean? I just named dogs. So Dirty's dirty because when he was born, he had this dark spot in his back. Looked like he crawled under a diesel truck and got oil on his back. You ever seen those dogs go under your diesel truck and
it's disgusting.
That black stripe. He was born like that, And I got Yucky. Yucky's out of Dirty.
That's
His
cool.
name was Dirty, so I called him Yucky, And here's a good story. My daughter, she named one of our dogs before. It's my older daughter, my blonde daughter. I'll be polite and say she's just my blonde daughter. She called it Yosemite. And I don't know where you come up with these names. She just comes up with these names. She just named a dog trichinosis. Bear disease or whatever.
Just call him Trick?
So one day we're watching TV. Yeah. No, she calls him trichinosis all the time.
Holy cow.
So one day we're watching TV and she says, oh, there's Yosemite's name. And I said, what? Because right there. And I'm all, Yosemite? No, Yosemite. That's Yosemite. He goes, no, it's Yosemite to me. I'm like, oh my God. You named the dog Yosemite after Yosemite. So, and that's Yucky's mom. That's Yucky's mom. And that was an accidental breeding. She, I think she got out, went straight to my dirty dog. Luckily, it was my dirty dog. So it wasn't, you know what I mean? But he does real good too. So,
yeah, that cross worked out, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I think my dad has a couple of them too. And I know a guy, it's his sister that, it's one of his half sisters I gave to a guy that says they're doing real good right now. Might be one of his lead dogs.
Oh,
so
gotcha. That's yeah.
Well,
yeah, some of the names guy comes up with, I had a dog named Quaalude. Even though I don't do drugs, but I thought that's cool.
Reminds me of Wolf of Wall Street, that movie.
Yeah. I sold it to a guy. He's a started dog. He's a nice dog. He says, we're going to change the name. I said, why? He's like, oh, like my wife would like that name. I'm like, well, okay. I think your wife hunted that much, but whatever.
Yeah. I had one of my other lead dogs is Vaca. So I got Vaca.
That's cool.
I had Pato, which is duck,
The one that was Vaca, did she look like a cow or?
No, I just named him Vaca. I had Vaca, Pato, Chupa. I just Puto. I just named it.
All kinds of Mexican
I had Chinga, which is Spanish, Oh yeah. So when I'm out there yelling at my dogs, Vaca, shut up, or Pato.
You can name one Chinga, one D, and one Madre.
Yeah.
Say it all at one time if you're pissed off.
No, I don't know. I don't put a lot of emphasis on names, but when I do, I have a little group of them. So
yeah.
And I got Cruella because she has half a white face. She's a Catahoula.
Oh,
she got two blue eyes.
She's a bear dog, huh?
She does good in the dry ground, fast.
Really? Yeah.
Really fast. And I kind of bred them for the desert because they're kind of deserty dogs, in my opinion. They can handle the heat and she's really fast. She loves the tree. She's just excited. She's ADHD, just on the go all the time. And she pays attention to the dogs. Now, I don't think she'd strike a track, but I'm going to tell you, for one, if they run in a track, she'll get down with them. If they jump something, she's the one. She's the one that's got her nose in the butt, fast. She'll get there fast. They could be 2 miles away and strike something, and she'll be there in about 22 seconds.
Damn, quick.
Very quick.
She's going to be the one that bites him on the ass and makes him climb the tree.
Exactly. My Andy dog that I hated so much, the dog I loved to hate and hated to love, many times he would grab them, bears would come out and he'd jump and grab him there. I punched a bear in the butt to get it up a tree, and maybe he thought he was like, you're doing something, I'm going to do it. And he ran, jumped, grabbed that bear and wouldn't let go. And that bear took him up about 12 feet before he let go.
Oh, wow. That's
I was like, Trying to catch him.
Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty neat.
What other tips we got for these hound guys? It's been 2 hours. It goes quick, don't it?
Holy cow! Yeah, I guess so.
I know. That
Yeah,
first hour blew by quick too.
yeah. Hell,
Hunt
I
with
don't know.
somebody, right? Go run with. If you're thinking about getting into dogs, go run with somebody for a little bit. Make sure
Yeah,
it's clean their shit out of their kennels. Help them feed their dogs. Go run with them, and just don't just get a puppy. Go run with
yeah.
somebody. Make sure it's what you want to do. That's
Find
my
you,
opinion.
find yourself a mentor.
Hmm
Do that. A good
That's
one.
hard to do
Yeah,
in
it's
the
tough.
hound world, especially
Mm-hmm.
dry ground.
Yeah,
Most dry
that's tough.
ground guys are they're loners.
Yeah,
So
yeah. If you find one, yeah, just and here's the most important thing. I've helped guys over the years, get into it. If you're not asking questions, that drives somebody nuts because the guy that's mentoring that person kind of feels like that person's just going along for a ride. But if somebody's asking questions, I'm not talking about stupid questions, or there's no such thing, I guess. But ask questions. Think of questions that would make sense, and ask that person that because what's going to happen? You might ask a question off the top of your head and it might not mean much, but that's going to go down a rabbit hole, and you're going to learn something from going down that rabbit hole, and you're saying, "Holy crap! I'm going to try that." That's why I haven't been doing this, or haven't been catching lions, or this has been happening. So ask questions, and most people that are, helping somebody out, they don't look at it from like an egotistical standpoint or something like, "Oh, I'm a big shot." But if somebody asks questions, you're going to go down a rabbit hole, and you're going to learn something that you never thought you'd learn. So I don't know.
and if you're with someone who gets like annoyed that you're asking too many questions, find somebody else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to be around that grouchy old son of a bitch.
Mhm.
So yeah, go with someone else. Yeah, just I don't know.
There it is, guys.
He can't answer them questions. He probably don't know much anyhow. So.
Yeah. Or he's not a good bullshitter.
Yeah,
Well,
one of the two.
hey, most lion hunters are pretty good bullshitters.
Yeah. Most of them should be wearing hip
Yep.
waders. But yeah, that's I don't know. Just ask a lot of questions. You'd be surprised at what you learn. So
She's right. This is what I was talking about. Once you have a
yeah.
few good dogs, it's cheating bringing up the next. It is. It's a lot easier.
Oh yeah,
I don't think I've done too many drags in the last 10 years, 'cause I place my dogs a little bit around the yard, do a couple little drags when they're really young, and then I just start running them with my older dogs and they just learn,
Mhm. Yeah.
So, and if you have a dog you can throw down with your older dogs and it mimics it, it wants to learn.
Oh yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
they want to fall into it, and especially even if you're just even if you don't have time to go hunt all the time, take your dogs out and road them, exercise them behind your truck. Out by the dump or whatever, out by the shooting range or whatever you got going on there. Them pups still learn going with them old dogs. They learn to handle.
Mhm.
They learn to load up, and the little puppies. Sometimes you might have to help them load in the back of the truck. Grab them by the collar and kind of help them up, or back into a bank to where they can jump up. Pretty soon they're loading, auto loading. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
how'd that happen?
Oh,
But just roading them. If you don't have time to go hunting all the time, just
yeah.
roading them and exercising them gets a handle on them. So
When you let your dogs off your chain, what do? They run right to your truck.
yeah,
That's what mine do. They
yeah,
know.
yeah.
And even if you have some young pups, man, just get them out in the desert or in the forest, wherever you're at. Just let them smell stuff. Let them
Yeah.
chase them rabbits if they're young. Let them jump over the logs. I've gotten dogs from people that's been 8 months old, a year old, took them out, and they don't know how to jump on a log or a rock. Like they're just they're not stable on their feet. It's crazy for me to see that.
Yeah, exactly. Like Becky and I, when you get puppies, we'll take them for puppy walks.
Mm-hmm.
Take them for walks and teach them to go underneath the fence or over a log or across the ditch. exposure, you know.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, hell, they got all that down, and then they're going along, you know, following the big dogs. But it sure helps, you know, teach them to get through that stuff.
I tell you that I'm going to probably end with this tonight.
Yeah.
Manners.
Yeah, you nailed it.
God.
Yeah. And I'm not always the best at that. Becky
Listen,
has to get after me.
my dogs act up. My dogs act up sometimes, but they know when I'm mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But manners. And you don't have to have a dog that sits, rolls over, and plays dead.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to have those manners to where when they're running for that freeway and you call them,
Mm-hmm.
they know you're serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When they're going, yeah, you know, and I tell you this too, this gets a lot of controversy and people say your dogs suck if you can call them off a tree. But I've been at plenty of bear trees and lion rock and called my dogs off without toning them. Say, let's go.
I'd say your
let's go. And
I'd say
I'm not saying I do this. Let's go, and they all run to me and they sit. No, I have to coax them sometimes, especially the younger ones. And you got that one dog that just wants to eat that bear or that lion or whatever. He's just, you have to constantly call him, but they will come off. I haven't. I don't think for the last couple of years, I don't think I've put a leash on a dog.
No.
To pull them off a tree. And I'm going to tell you, if you got dogs with good manners, teach that dog manners, period. Like I said, they don't have to shake your hand and roll over on their back, but damn if they have to listen to you. They have to listen to you, you know.
Exactly. You know, that's funny you say that because, yeah, if you're hunting off mules or not, you call them dogs, they need to come. Now, the young ones that are just getting into it, and you might be a little bit softer on bringing them off. But them old dogs that have caught, you know, a couple dozen lions, they know better. When you call them, they need to go. And if not, you tone them. And if they don't, if you tone them and they still don't, give them a little bit of juice. They know better. And
they know better. And it ain't going to stop them from treeing again. I guarantee that.
Oh, no, because once they're cat crazy, they're mountain lion crazy, they're locked in on that. And they go over there and say, come on, dogs, let's go. You know, I caught a lion this last winter, the female, and she jumped, went towards the road more, and she's 7 feet off the ground. I said, come on, dogs, let's go. And they all followed me. A couple looked back like, that lion's still there. But you got to have them go because they need to honor you.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the pups, you know, if they're wanting to go back, just tone them. Most time you tone them. By the time you show them their first line, they should know what a tone means.
Mm-hmm.
That's the nice thing about e-collars, you know, the tone is like, get your ass over here, and a shock is like, I wasn't kidding, you know. And by the time they're old enough to go on a lion hunt, they should know. They should know exactly what that means. So yeah, it's not that hard. But people that say, oh, that's a bunch of crap, you can pull your dogs off a tree. That's a bunch of crap that you can't.
Yeah.
Dogs should pull tree.
Cleve, we could go 2 hours on manners.
Yeah.
You know, just little things. We talk. I need to do just an episode on manners and grooming your dog to you, because if you're just going to take the dog and throw him on a chain, take him every weekend or every other weekend or 3 times a year, you're not going to have a good dog. You're not. You might have a good pet, but I mean, it's not just, man, when I go out and feed my dogs, they're all on chains. I pet them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm lucky right now. Literally, I live in a travel trailer on my dad's property when I stay down here in South Arizona. My dog, I got 10 dogs around my trailer. So every day it sucks because I got to clean crap up every day or I step in it. But it just petting your dog when you get home and talking to him. You don't have to be a stereotypical 1950s houndsman that everybody thinks that just throws their dog scraps and, you know, beats them. But give them some love. That will create such good manners in a dog. When you walk up and pet them, you feed them, I'll sit on their barrel and pet them. You know, it's kind kind of a psychological thing, because when I don't have my dogs here and I come home, because I'll take them up north in the summer. If I don't have them here, man, I'm a lonely son of a gun.
Yeah.
So I think it's more therapeutic for me than it is my dog. But
yeah,
manners. We're gonna have to do an episode just on manners.
Yeah, we will.
How to treat a dog. Little tips and tricks on. My tip is when you're feeding them, pet them, talk to them.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And when we're talking about pulling them off a tree, those young pups that don't know no better, man, praise them. Good job, and then pull them off that tree. Praise them while they're treed. I think there's a lot of those little tips that we miss when we're talking about dogs, because we're usually telling stories or, and it's probably not the exciting stuff, but it's the important stuff. What do you do when you got a new pup, treeing, and it's his first tree? What do? You definitely don't shock. You go up and make him feel good about himself,
Yeah.
So
exactly.
We'll have to get on here again.
Yeah, that's you talking about that. I got a lot of good points that Becky always kind of reiterates when we get a puppy, and she's really good at putting a handle on them in the first stages. Like she gets them to where they're doing really good, and maybe we'll go over that next time we talk. And
that's what we'll do. We'll talk.
It sets a foundation for them, and then from there on out, it's a lot easier if you set that kind of foundation. That kind of the main thing that she does is sets that foundation. So.
Oh, there you go. I notice most people just want to reprimand and be black and white with their animals. It's not fair to say it's okay here, but not okay. Yeah. Got to be careful. If you want a dog to really respect you, you got to respect that dog. And that's how you're going to tell the difference between a houndsman and a guy who just runs dogs for the likes and comments, I guess I should say.
Yeah. So, that's true. In today's world, a lot of guys get into hound hunting. Just, I don't know, I hate to say it, but they want to post Facebook pics and Instagram pics.
Yeah.
They're focused on instant gratification, and that's
likes and comments.
Oh yeah, that's not what it's about. They're going in the wrong direction. So I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes they might come around, but maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe not. It's a new generation. I would love to be part of that old generation. I'm not gonna lie. I'll rope a lion. I'll pull it by its tail. I'll throw it in a barrel. Go let it go in my buddy's house. Those days are over. So well, I appreciate you coming on. Let's let me know when you can get back on, and we'll do a manners. We even let Becky on.
Yeah.
Tell us how she spoils the crap out of them dogs when they're puppies.
Oh yeah. She does a good job putting a good.
Yeah, because she has a few. She does a lot of stuff too. I heard her on another podcast where does stuff with the feet.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, the ENS, early neurological stimulation. We'll have to throw that in there too, maybe.
Yep.
So yeah, she's pretty good at that. So.
Well, let me know when you get back on.
Yeah. All right.
I appreciate you coming on. I never get to talk about whatever I want to talk about. It just kind of goes. That's why I call it free casting. It just gets all over the place. But I do appreciate you taking some time. And next time you get a Wednesday or a Monday, you can get a Monday off. We'll throw you on with Brett too.
Oh.
Let Brett and Benny. We'll let Benny sit there with his scowl and ask questions. So whenever you get a chance, let us know.
All right. Sounds good.
Thanks, Cleve. I appreciate it.
Yep. Adios.
All right.